that one game season. We talked about taking one game at a time all season long. That one game, this is that next game. Most important game on our schedule, right here. And guess what? It wasn't on our schedule. We had to win to get here. We created this opportunity. You guys have done a tremendous job all year long. Only thing I ask you to do tonight is play with your head, play with your heart, and see where that leads us, okay? Let's get in our Father.
Welcome to Championship Week, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. This afternoon, we're in the great state of Arkansas, and it's Hot Springs at the Summit Arena. North Texas will take on Troy for the championship of the Sun Belt Conference. Now, boy, this conference did a nice job as far as seeding. Take a look at this. Troy, the #1 seed, defeated Western Kentucky last night. And North Texas, it was a tough one, but they got by Denver, so it's #1 against #2 for the title today. And who gets a bid to the NCAA tournament? Hi, everybody. Ron Franklin along with Mark Adams, and welcome to a beautiful city right in the heart of Arkansas, Hot Springs. Talk about this scenario. A team that you can only get one team in to go to the NCAA tournament. Talk about the pressure that brings on both players and also coaches.
Ron, when you win that quarterfinal game, there's just relief. When you win your semifinal game, then there's some satisfaction. But tonight, it's about exhilaration. One team will experience exhilaration from that one bid, the other, total devastation. Great matchup tonight.
We had two great semifinal games played in this arena last night. Let's go back 24 hours and take a look at those.
Troy knocked off Western Kentucky, who represented the Sun Belt last year, and knocked off Illinois. Brandon Hazard knocking down the three ball was very, very effective for Troy. For North Texas knocking off Denver last night, Michael Vogler did a tremendous job. Josh White down at the three. Josh White with the drive. George Odufua on the offensive glass, and then the paint was dynamite. North Texas plays for the one bid tonight in the Sun Belt Conference.
Here's the Star Watch, George Odufua and Brandon Hazard.
George Odufua has to get after the offensive glass. Averages a double-double, number 14 in the country. Against the Troy zone, he's got to come up big. And Brandon Hazard, we saw him last night with the three-ball dagger. He's got to play very, very well offensively for Troy to win the one bid here this evening.
Starting lineups for our championship game of the Sun Belt Conference. For North Texas, Josh White, Tristan Thompson, Shannon Shorter, George Odufua, and Eric Tremel. And for the top seeds from Troy, Brandon Hazard, Michael Vogler, Richard Delk, Antoine Jones, and Yamin Coleman. And a gentleman we heard on our opener, Johnny Jones, 8 seasons as the head coach at North Texas. You see his record? 148 wins. And this gentleman right here since 1982, Don Maestri, has led the fortunes of this ball club in 28 seasons, 9 20-plus win seasons. Our officials for tonight, Mark Whitehead is the referee, and the two umpires are Rick Randall and David Hall. Troy attired in their white uniforms with the maroon piping. North Texas, of course, in the black with the green piping. We are underway. We're going to see Troy on offense first. Vogler wanted to give and go. Jones on the outside, three-pointer. Not there. Rebounded by Odufua.
Now, Troy will be in that 2-3 zone all night long. It'll be interesting to see how North Texas, if they don't settle for the jump shot and slash like that to the basket.
Thompson, Reed, he got banged on that play, and he's going to go to the line to shoot a couple. And it looks like Jones will pick up the first foul. Antoine Jones, a senior out of Clarksdale, Mississippi, played at Coahoma Junior College.
Ron, when you play 3 games in 3 nights, in this case, it really comes down to who doesn't settle for the jump shot, because your legs are a little bit tired. You end up being a little bit short on your jump shots. Who will be the aggressor in taking the ball to basket? I think will dictate who wins tonight.
Mark, how much does it help Troy in the fact that running that zone, they're not chasing quite as much as the Mean Green?
Especially when you consider that North Texas played Denver, that Princeton-style spread-out offense. They chased them in the man-to-man defense all night last night. We'll see if that has effect on their ability to shoot from the period.
By the way, Thompson, who was good on that last free throw, now with 1,000 points in his career. Vogler drives the lane, gets it. But we've seen him, since this tournament started, do just that, and he did it again last night, and he really can be a pain in the side for the opposition. Now here they come back with the zone.
The more penetrating passes into the high post, the mid post, are beautifully done by North Texas.
Nice job in the follow and a strong move inside.
Look at the pressure. Just watch the black jerseys defensively. All-out man pressure versus on the opposite side, Troy will fall back into a 2-3 zone.
Inside, Coleman, and Shorter is going to pick up the foul.
Against the zone, look at the penetrating passes into the post and the offside cut right through the gut for the easy layup right there. That's exactly what North Texas needs to do against that sagging Troy matchup zone.
First free throw rattles it down. But these two teams played earlier this season, and it was a three-point ball game. And that is the kind of closeness that we expect in this championship game today. And it was North Texas, the number 2 seed in this tournament, who came away with the victory. Tied at 4. So we're about to have played the first 2 minutes of our championship game of the Sun Belt.
In contrast, look at Troy's defense. Only comes out to the three-point line, rarely beyond. They want to force you to take and make jump shots.
Thompson driving to the lane, not there. Tip inside of Dupuis.
Keep watching the Dupuis on the offensive glass.
Now he gets a defensive board at the other end of the floor. Last night, he started off a little slowly. We sat here and watched that semifinal game. He can't do that tonight against this ball club.
No, tonight he already has an assist and an offensive tip back. Against this zone, I think that Georgia Dupuis is the big key. There he is flashing, and there's another assist.
They're going to have an opportunity for the three-point play. The Mean Green, that's Eric Trammell, the senior out of Shreveport.
Watch the dead area of the zone, right in the high post area. North Texas worked on this today in their shoot-around. Get it to the soft spot of that matchup zone, and it's right in that high post area.
Trammell completes the three-point play, and it's North Texas on top, 9-4 in the early going. 17-15 showing in our first half.
And that's the guy that's got to get off, Brandon Hazard.
The runner not there, taken down. North Texas with numbers. Thompson cuts to the middle, out in the wing. White passed it up. Goes back to Trammell, and Odupuwa. It's going to be a travel. Opportunity there to call an offensive foul, and I think a better election of what they did.
North Texas doing such a good job at getting the ball in the post. There you see the extra step. You saw the long step and then a second step. That's the reason for the walk. Good call.
Here's Delk. Formerly played at Mississippi State. Long three, in and out. Unlucky on a shot. Odupuwa is all over the board so far. Another defensive board right there.
He averages a double-double. Reminds me of Kenneth Fareed, one of the unsung power forwards in the country at Morehead State, one of the leading rebounders in the country, as is Odupuwa.
Thompson had a good look. Fired just a little bit too strongly. And now Troy needs to go to work offensively. It has, for the most part, been one and out. Squared up to the hoop, and this time unlucky on the shot. And that's going to be a foul whistled against Richard Delk. That's a twin, of course, who
Look at Troy settling for soft jump shots right there. That's not the game plan for Don Maestri. There's the foul right there. Don Maestri wants to attack Adufua in the post. Why? To get him in foul trouble. If Adufua is in there against his zone, he's an offensive one-man wrecking crew.
White. Good, slow, deliberate start for him. He's open for the three. A little too hard off the back iron. And rebounded by the Trojans.
Against this man-to-man defense, Troy State needs to spread the black jerseys and look for penetration routes.
Long three. It might mean a line drive. Very little arc, and Jones cans it. 9-7. Cuts that lead down to a couple. Asancia into the ball game, number 3, out of Georgia. Thompson drives it hard to the hoop and gets it to go.
North Texas doing everything right to attack the zone early.
Joe will take a timeout. North Texas 11-7, and here's Jones at the long three-pointer. 4-point game.
A former track and field student athlete.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's. And in part by Mazda, Zoom Forever. And theladders.com. Only 100K plus jobs, only 100K plus talent.
And welcome back to Hart Springs, Arkansas. It is North Texas with a 4-point bulge, 11-7. Well, here's the bio on North Texas. Located in Denton, founded 1890. You see the enrollment almost 35,000. Roy Orbison, Meatloaf, and Mean Joe Green, some of the notable alumni.
Pretty Woman, one of my favorite songs, by the way, Ron. I know it's got to be one of yours, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it has been, actually. So we see Troy on offense. Nice deliberate start by both of these ball clubs, beating each other out. The big thing so far has been rebounding, and that is being led by North Texas 5-2. And Adufua already has recorded 3.
Troy looking for Hazard down low, matched up with White. He's got a size advantage to try and invert their offense. There he is in the post up. He just left the lane.
Shot clock is down to 5. Hazard off on the corner. And it's Jones again. Antoine Jones, the senior out of Clarksdale, knocks it down. And, I mean, that is real pressure with the clock about to go to 0, the shot clock, that is. And it's back to a 1-point ball game as we head toward 14 minutes to play. Going to be Troy. Going to be the Mean Green of North Texas. Shorter drives it, and boy, that pass way too hard, and he knows as he apologizes to his teammate, if he hits him in the mouth, he got stitches. Trammell was not ready for that one. It was a fastball from about 5 feet away. So there's a turnover that just simply did not have to be.
Well, and congratulations to St. Mary's and Randy Bennett, led by Omar Samhan, who absolutely had it handed to them at Gonzaga just a few weeks ago, and now they come back and win the West Coast Conference Championship. Congratulations to the Gales of St. Mary's.
Yeah, I was surprised at that because of Gonzaga winning just a couple of weeks earlier and winning big, and then the Gales by 19 points.
Well, the down-under invasion, very effective for St. Mary's.
Beautiful play right there. Han Vogler, the assist. And a big pat on the back because that is exactly the way it's designed. And it also got him a foul.
Michael Vogler, number 24 in white, gets it down low. Vogler is the Peyton Manning. He's the Drew Brees of this basketball team. And you just saw his ability to throw it on the run.
Well, the head coach, Don Maestri, says the men we just saw on the air, David Felix, they had been together for 28 years at this school, and he said he's just like me. You know, we have the same thoughts, the same kind of theories, and I guess when you coach with someone for that long, that's the way it's got to be. You know what the other guy is thinking.
Two heads are better than one, and as a head coach, you need an assistant coach that's not afraid to tell you the truth.
You don't need yes men. That doesn't do you any good, because the ego doesn't count. I tell you, he's got him strapped up tight today now, both ends of the floor. Defensively, rebounding, and here comes the three, and we're back to a 2-point lead, this time by Troy. Mangrum into the lineup. Three-pointer in the corner, and knocking it down. Number 25, Eric Trammell.
Both teams are really good rhythm offensively because they're attacking.
And then the other end, it's Hazard, senior out of Atlanta, played at Southwest DeKalb High School. 17 points in a semifinal game against Western Kentucky last night. Colin Mangrum, I should say, out of Powell, Texas, into the lineup. Championship week continues on ESPN2 Thursday at 12:30 Eastern. It's going to be Colorado or Texas Tech. Texas Tech facing off against number 1 Kansas in the quarterfinals of the Phillips 66 Big 12. Then at 7 o'clock Eastern, North Carolina takes on Georgia Tech in round 1 of the ACC tournament. Keep one thing in mind. The number 8 seed in that Big 12 tournament might be Colorado, but folks, they played at Boulder earlier this year with 5,000 Kansas fans having come to the ball game, and it was an overtime is what it took for Kansas to come away with the victory over Colorado. That could be an interesting matchup if they in fact beat Texas Tech.
Colorado continues to get better and better week by week.
Stolen. There's a young man I was just talking about, Mangrum, and he will score it easily. His hometown is Howe, Texas. And I ask you, where's Howe? Is it just outside of Sherman? It's very quickly to the other end. It is Bernard Toombs, the junior out of Columbus, Georgia.
There's Mangrum right there, just passed the ball. Number 20 got the ball in his hands. He's part of the reinforcement line for this basketball team. Comes off the bench, really gives this ball club a lift.
White, three-pointer, Toombs rebounds. And I think everybody's taking the wraps off now. They're tired of feeding each other out. It is up and down and the way that we expected. Three-pointer, that's an air ball as Mangrum watches it go out of bounds. One other note about Colin Mangrum, really good bloodlines. His father was a quarterback in the NFL and played for the Philadelphia Eagles. 2-point lead, North Texas.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to center court for a special presentation. On behalf of the Sun Belt Conference's 13 member institutions, Commissioner Mr. Wright Waters would like to express his appreciation and gratitude to the community of Hot Springs National Park, Arkansas, and the Hot Springs Convention and Visitors Bureau. At at center court with Commissioner Waters as Hot Springs National Park Mayor, Mr. Mike Bush, and CEO of the Hot Springs Convention and Visitors Bureau, Mr. Steve Arison. Fans, let's show our appreciation to Hot Springs for a wonderful 4 days, and we look forward to seeing you next year. Thank you. Once again, that's sbc@crowdcameo.com, and your picture can be on the video boards during this game. Please welcome to the court and the sound of the South.
Look who's coming in, Cameron Spencer. He didn't play much last night.
That's that 3 games in 3 days deal. Look at that.
(21-19) North Texas with a first half lead at the 11:35 mark. Coming into the ball game, first time we've seen him. Cameron Spencer is 6'8", 264-pound forward. Played at SMU. He's from Orange, Texas. We take a look at the Troy Trojans and their bio. Founded in 1887, enrollment almost 30,000. And you want to take a chance on the first name there? I'll see. You go ahead.
Sorry. I'd rather talk about Don Maestri. But he's a guy that...
Easy to talk about him.
Troy was known as a big-time scoring basketball team. They averaged over 100 points a game night in and night out back in the 90s, but he's been able to change that flow a little bit. They still the #1 scoring team in the Sun Belt Conference, but he's really slowed down that pace a little bit to be a little bit more manageable, especially for them defensively, not taking so many risks.
David Artunes is coming to the lineup and has given them a good lift. Troy, as far as on the boards and just physical help. Under 11 minutes to play. 21-19. North Texas leads. Nice job of closing off the lane right there. And here's the young man I was just talking about, Cameron Spencer, working against Toombs. Vogler drives the middle, had the ball knocked away by Spencer on the floor, and it's going to stay right where it is. And we see 1 second on the shot clock.
There's Don Maestri. Look for Taylor or Hazard. Hazard, number 14, is typically the go-to guy. Vogler usually more off the dribble, number 24. Watch for 14. They want to get him a touch.
Bisaccia will pull the trigger, and they left him all alone, and Taylor scores. And Johnny Jones is not going to be happy about that, as somebody just went to sleep.
The defense was so focused on Brandon Hazard, they doubled him and left Taylor wide open on the backside.
Short jumper, got it. That's a 2 rather than the 3. Scored by Shorter. So North Texas back to a 2-point lead and right down at the other end. Hazard, and he can be hazardous to your health if you don't get on him defensively, because he'll just keep taking that opportunity and knocking them down. Tied at 23 with 10 minutes left to play in the first half. This is exactly what we expected as far as tempo and the closeness of the ball game. White off the mark, not there. Toombs tips it over, and it comes down to Taylor. Long 3-pointer. That one well off the mark. Mean Green, outlet pass. Mangrum is there. He got away with the travel, I believe, or a slide. I'll call it that.
Last 2 possessions, both teams settling for long jump shots, and this is the result. When you take a no-pass jump shot from 3, that leads to a breakout opportunity for North Texas. Both these teams, Johnny Jones' game plan is to dip the ball in the paint. Attack, attack, attack.
Cameron Spencer, that's going to be short.
Substitution. Trojans, number 20.
What's really interesting about these two coaches, they have had great success with Don Maestri and also Johnny Jones. I think a lot alike as far as temperament, the way they handle their team. They can have hard love, but they're not screamers at their players. Very almost low key on the sideline.
And we saw that play out in late game situations last night where both teams were so cool and calm in big situations. Johnny Jones's ball club reflected his personality as Josh White made those big plays coming down the stretch.
Here's Vogler, nice give and go pass, a little bit too far, and the ball is tipped, and it's going to come right here. And Dave Odom, nice play. He didn't turn it over, and he didn't shoot immediately. That shocks me. Dave Odom doing color on the national radio broadcast.
He could coach now.
Yep. Ball is stolen. Great anticipation. And taken back away by the Mean Green.
Boy,
Tristan Thompson.
Vernon Taylor, number 2 and wide at the top of that zone, plays so hardy ball hawks.
Mangrum, his shot is blocked inside. Toombs got a hand on that one. And here comes Troy back. Whoa, crossover with the dribble. Hello, maybe a little laundry left right around the free throw line.
What a hesitation right there with the right hand and then the shoulder slam.
Interesting. As tight as we are in this ball game, White has still not scored. Toombs with the rebound. Here comes Vogler. Going to get somebody on him, and a nice job by White defensively to get over and knock the ball out of bounds.
Watch Michael Vogler as he comes down. Watch his right shoulder right there as he lowers that shoulder and explodes to the basket. Good hesitation, good low center of gravity for Michael Vogler.
Taylor. Taylor's got a great motor. As Mark talked about just a moment ago, he brings a lot to the table. He's just a really good basketball player.
Yeah, he doesn't play a position. He just plays basketball.
Terrific anticipation, like on the steal just a minute ago. Oh boy. Everybody's going to be okay, but going down hard was Trammell. So you can see that Tristan is back up and appears to be okay, as does Trammell. Delk will come back into the lineup for Troy. Pasazia with a nice little stint. Delk, as we mentioned, has a twin. His uncle, Tony, played, as we all know, for a long time with Kentucky.
Tony Delk at Kentucky and in the NBA. His brother Reginald, his twin at Louisville. I think Reginald's a little better shooter. I think Richard's a little better basketball player. I have twins as well, and they're very different types of talents. They may look the same, but they're very different in their talents.
It was Delk last night who got the winner with the Odufuwa fouled. It's going to be Toombs who will pick up the foul. When we come back, Odufuwa will be going to the line. Troy leading by 3.
Welcome to the court, the North Texas cheerleaders and the Mean Green Basketball Band.
So it's a 3-point lead for Troy and some of the Mean Green faithful who have come up here from Denton, Texas. Either that are very, very envious people. As you take a look at a coast-to-coast headlines, Joe Lunardi's #1 seeds, KU, Syracuse in the south, Kentucky in the east, Duke in the west. I don't really have a problem with that. Certainly, I would think that Kansas would wind up being the number one seed.
Well, for now, until they all lose again. Just a revolving door, it seems like. When you get to be #1 in the country, you lose within a week or two.
Yeah, it's been a dangerous thing. If you wear that moniker, it has been very, very difficult as Odufuwa knocks down the first one. Odufuwa is off to an outstanding start in this ballgame. 4 rebounds. That gives him 8 points now. Still have 7:46 to play. First half.
It's because of that 2-3 zone where he gets room to roam in the mid-post area and also on the offensive glass. That's why I really think that if you're Troy, you've got to get touches in the paint and attack him. Try to get him in foul trouble.
With no fouls in his first half so far. 6 fouls Troy, 4 against North Texas. Troy by 1. Out of the wing, here's Jones. Shot clock is now under 10. To get something done here. Hazard covered up, loses the ball, and taken away by the Mean Green, Eric Trammell. Algie Williams, a freshman out of Dallas, played at Mississippi Elite Christian Academy. And taken away by Jones again. That great anticipation. Vogler dishes in the slam and injured on the play.
Basket good. Foul number 20 in the Mean Green. Colin Mangrum.
Appears to be okay. And here's Jones. We talked about his anticipation on a steal earlier. And Vogler dishes it back behind.
When Mangrum tries to step in, doesn't get there, and Coleman absolutely delivers on Mangrum's head.
Good hustle by Mangrum, but Coleman with a full head of steam. You see the young man, 6'9" senior out of Boykin, Alabama. And he makes it a 3-point play. And with that, that's going to be the largest lead of the afternoon by Troy. They lead by 4, 30-26. We're under 7 minutes to play. Great hustle here in front of us. And the ball will go out of bounds. And that is, again, the always present Michael Vogler.
And Troy switching up defenses now. Don Maestri, the master chameleon, changing the defensive colors based upon situation. Now look, they extend in the 1-3-1 zone. They're looking for more steal opportunities.
Into the middle. And that's going to be a foul by Jones.
Foul number 20 in the Trojans.
Now let's take a look at the Big East brackets.
Team 7.
And it's kind of like reading the, okay, we won't do this right now. It's kind of like reading the Brooklyn phone book, quite frankly.
Well, how about St. John's knocking off UConn today? UConn's bubble just burst, probably did about a week ago. But their bubble in the NIT may have just burst as well. Congratulations, Norman Roberts, been under a lot of pressure at St. John's. I mean, it was just a beatdown of the UConn Huskies today.
And Jim Calhoun looked as though he was just kind of lost over the entire situation. 3-point ball game, under 6.5 to play first half. Here's Vogler. Contact with Hazard went down. He wasn't ready for that pass, I don't think, by Coleman.
Well, Troy trying to get Hazard off such a good 3 points. You're this back inside.
Very athletic and very tough, normally from that range, but he couldn't get that jumper to go. And here comes the Mean Green. They can cut into this 3-point lead and or tie it up on this trip. Here's Mangrum. We've seen Mangrum more than we saw him last evening in the semifinal game.
Because he's willing to go ahead and knock down a shot and also dribble penetrate to the basket on that right-hand wing of the zone.
That'll be times of, if I called the name of Antoine Jones, as he came down with that rebound at the other end. Williams on the run, and he gets the runner to go down. So it's back to a 1-point game, 30-29.
North Texas on offense has been settling for jump shots. They've got to get back into that attack rhythm to be successful against that Troy zone. And credit the defense of North Texas against Brandon Hazard. He has not gotten a quality look.
Delk. Actually, he got another quality look right there, and Delk unable to knock it down. He got the biggest one last night, though, a 3-point shot with about 14 seconds left to play in the semifinal game. And along the baseline, unlucky on the shot was Tristan Thompson.
It's okay, though. I like the aggression attacking the basket.
Dishes it back. It's a great play. And nothing but just a putback for the big guy, Yamin Coleman, the senior out of Boykin.
This game's pretty simple. If you settle for jump shots, you're going to lose. If you're in attack mode, you'll win this game.
Williams holds up, rattles it home. We got a 1-point ball game, 32-31 Troy. I guess against this defense that the Trojans win, no matter how much they change it up, it would be easy to settle for jump shots, but that's not the makeup of North Texas. I mean, they like to penetrate.
And Troy doesn't have great on-ball footwork. Even though they're in the zone, you can get by them and make plays.
Under 4 minutes, first half. Shot clock is down to 2. Jones, long three-pointer. Didn't touch iron, and out on the break. Here comes Trammell, and he'll put it up with the left hand, blocked. And thought he got a good piece of it, but the foul is going to be called on Bernard Toombs. So one more look at the dish right here as Coleman scores it.
Out on the court, and they're going to find 2 other sweethearts in the stands, and they're going to make you the Garden Woodland Gardens sweetheart of the game. Wants to be a sweetheart. There they are, the Garden Sweethearts of the game. Next game, the Garden Woodland Garden.
Welcome back to Championship Week, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. We're at the Summit Arena in Hot Springs. Ron Franklin, along with former head coach Mark Adams for the Sun Belt Men's Championship. And Mark, take us inside the play.
Watch the defensive footwork of North Texas. Watch how they constantly keep their feet moving. Let's run it. as they stay in perfect position defensively on the ball. Everybody's always ahead of the ball and helping, which results in the turnover. I like North Texas, their ability to move their feet defensively. That's the way Johnny Jones draws it up. A very good defensive technician for North Texas.
Trammell at the free throw line, and tell me while he is at the free throw line why North Texas has not settled for just the jump shot against this zone decoy offense that the Trojans run.
Well, remember now that it's the third game in 3 days for Johnny Jones and also for Troy and North Texas, and so you're going to lose some legs. And one thing about a North Texas team, they make 20 free throws per game on average. It's because they attack on offense. That's his style as a coach, to get his team to the line, not settle for jump shots.
They love to penetrate. This is Hazard, plenty of time on the shot clock. Being looked after by Shannon Shorter. Now Vogler against White. Well, suspends, not there. Dufois comes away with a rebound. Strong at the other end, ball tipped around, and Dufois will score it. He's now with double figures to go along with 5 rebounds.
There's that Johnny Jones knife in the gaps offense for North Texas. Vogler is the one guy, 24 in white, that can put the ball on the floor and get by as a penetration route guard to the basket.
He's got 6 assists so far in this ballgame. This Hazard falling away, not there.
Jump shot short. Shows legs giving way.
White at the other end, pumps it, and Toombs is the man who got a piece of it. And inside, the putback not there, and that's going to be goaltender. Scored the basket to number 25, Eric Trammell.
One of the disadvantages of the zone is block off, especially when the ball gets in the paint, and North Texas athletic enough to go up and get it. Dufois is so good when there's dribble penetration, going to the backside and locating the basketball.
You know, it's interesting that they're not huge, but North Texas, Toombs knocks down the jumper. They got 2 guys that they can muscle with inside, and you saw that situation just a moment ago. But Trammell, you know, can be a strong, big fella.
Every time North Texas gets into a gap, into that dead area in the middle of the zone, something good happens.
White, Toombs with the block.
He's a big athletic kid. He really changed the game defensively.
Yeah, that's I made the comment a while ago that he has really brought a lot to the table, and he's played more in his first half, I think, than we saw in the entire game last night, didn't he?
Good news for Troy fans there. But Brandon Hazard can start knocking down threes like that. But when he fades, he's short.
Three-pointer, no, that's short. Toombs with still another rebound. Folks, we now have our 10th lead change. So the championship of the Sun Belt, I think it's going to go for a 440 and maybe beyond that. As one and out here, Dufois comes away with the rebound. Here's White at the other end, and he was fouled. White 0 of 5. No points. So the foul on Vogler, his second.
I got a chance to visit with Josh White before the game, and I'm always fascinated by, do point guards know their personnel? Because to me, that's the #1 count of a point guard. I asked Josh White, late game, you need a 2. Who you get a 2? Without hesitation, said Eric Trammell. Said, you need a 3, Tristan Thompson. I mean, without hesitation, this little point guard, he knows his personnel perfectly.
He is, when you ask the coaches or his teammates, who's the heart and soul of this basketball team, and it's a guy that's listed at 5'10", and folks, he closer to 5'8" than he is 5'10", but he's got so much heart now for a little guy.
There aren't many guys I can post up and dunk on a Nerf bucket. I put on him. Michael Vogler and Brandon Hazard now starting to heat up a little bit from three-point land.
North Texas back on top by 1, touched last by the Mean Green, so it will go over to Troy. Shorter did not agree with the call of the official. He said, I didn't touch it. The official said, I was standing right there. And yes, you did.
Late game possession, yeah, end of the half, late game possession. Don Maestri likes Vogler to make the decision. You got Hazard as your 3-point bomber. Those are your 2, option A, option B. Vogler, 24, Hazard with the ball, number 14.
Troy with the 2-point lead. There is no shot clock, just the game clock, and it is now at 10. Here's Hazard getting a screen out high from Toombs, but they get Odufuwa out on top defensively as well. Vogler's got to do something in a hurry here. Falling away, not there. Follow shot would not have counted had it gone. And it is Troy on top by a couple, 40-38. Now let's go back to the studio. Jay Williams, Kevin Connors, and Doug Gottlieb.
Good half.
There's some people that, hey, nice job. Good gosh. See, this sucker was over. Okay, good deal. Thank you. Nice job, everybody. You're watching college basketball on ESPN's exclusive coverage of the Sun Belt Basketball Championship. Due to time constraints, we move ahead in our action. You're watching college basketball on ESPN's exclusive coverage of the Sun Belt Basketball Championship. Due to time constraints, we move ahead in our action after these messages. You're watching Championship Week, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. We're at the Sun Belt Championship in Hot Springs, Arkansas, where the Troy Trojans are matched up against the Mean Green of North Texas. Catch all 48 games from the first and second round of the 2010 NCAA Women's Championship on ESPN and ESPN2, March 20th through the 23rd. Contact your cable or satellite provider today to order. ESPN is your exclusive home for the NCAA Women's Championship. We'll continue with action from Summit Arena in Hot Springs after these messages.
Lots of goodies. Thank you, everyone.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, would you welcome to the court the North Texas Dancers. The North Texas Dancer.
That one game season. We talked about taking one game at a time all season long. That one game, this is that next game. Most important game on our schedule, right here. And guess what? It wasn't on our schedule. We had to win to get here. We created this opportunity. You guys have done a tremendous job all year long. Only thing I ask you to do tonight is play with your head, play with your heart, and see where that leads us, okay? Let's get in our Father.
Welcome to Championship Week, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. This afternoon, we're in the great state of Arkansas, and it's Hot Springs at the Summit Arena. North Texas will take on Troy for the championship of the Sun Belt Conference. Now, boy, this conference did a nice job as far as seeding. Take a look at this. Troy, the #1 seed, defeated Western Kentucky last night. And North Texas, it was a tough one, but they got by Denver, so it's #1 against #2 for the title today. And who gets a bid to the NCAA tournament? Hi, everybody. Ron Franklin along with Mark Adams, and welcome to a beautiful city right in the heart of Arkansas, Hot Springs. Talk about this scenario. A team that you can only get one team in to go to the NCAA tournament. Talk about the pressure that brings on both players and also coaches.
Ron, when you win that quarterfinal game, there's just relief. When you win your semifinal game, then there's some satisfaction. But tonight, it's about exhilaration. One team will experience exhilaration from that one bid, the other, total devastation. Great matchup tonight.
We had two great semifinal games played in this arena last night. Let's go back 24 hours and take a look at those.
Troy knocked off Western Kentucky, who represented the Sun Belt last year, and knocked off Illinois. Brandon Hazard knocking down the three ball was very, very effective for Troy. For North Texas knocking off Denver last night, Michael Vogler did a tremendous job. Josh White down up the three. Josh White with the drive. George Odufuwa on the offensive glass, and then the paint was dynamite. North Texas plays for the one bid tonight in the Sun Belt Conference.
Here's the Star Watch, George Odufuwa and Brandon Hazard.
George Odufuwa has to get after the offensive glass. Averages a double-double, number 14 in the country against the Troy zone. He's got to come up big. And Brandon Hazard, we saw him last night with the three-ball dagger. He's got to play very, very well offensively for Troy to win the one bid here this evening.
Starting lineups for our championship game of the Sun Belt Conference. For North Texas, Josh White, Tristan Thompson, Shannon Shorter, George Odufuwa, and Eric Tremel. And for the top seeds from Troy, Brandon Hazard, Michael Vogler, Richard Delk, Antoine Jones, and Yamin Coleman. And a gentleman we heard on our opener, Johnny Jones, 8th season as the head coach at North Texas. You see his record? 148 wins. And this gentleman right here since 1982, Don Maestri, has led the fortunes of this ball club in 28 seasons, 9 20-plus win seasons. Our officials for tonight, Mark Whitehead is the referee, and the two umpires. Welcome to Championship Week, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. We are in Hot Springs, Arkansas for the Sun Belt Championship. And it's Troy after the first 20 minutes of play on top, 40-38. Stats in the first 20 minutes of play. So you look at the numbers, anything jump out at you there?
Well, three-point shooting for Troy and shooting overall. North Texas has done what they need to do offensively to win this game, but defensively, they've got to come up for an answer for Michael Vogler. He has simply made plays.
7 assists for him in the first half. A total of 12, as you can see the numbers right there. What do you do then to calm him down?
On-ball footwork. Take away penetration, and when he gives it up, don't let him have it back. Deny him the basketball. Troy opens up in their 2-3 matchup zone. Sagging inside the three-point line.
Mark, how many changes in that zone have we seen in the ball game so far?
They went to 1-3-1 and also went to a trap out of the corner. So we've seen 3 different looks out of this zone.
Thompson, that is a nice move into the paint.
Offense is not the problem for North Texas. It's the matchup right there with number 24 in white, Michael Vogler. When we called him the Peyton Manning, the Drew Brees of this basketball team, he had a Drew Brees-like first half, 10 points, 7 assists.
Hazard, he gets muscled around and has the ball taken away. As made number 35, Jermaine Coleman thought he could get the tip, and he got pushed out of there. Is at the other end, very, very quickly, Tristan Thompson to score. And just like that, North Texas back on top by a couple.
Tristan Thompson, 94-foot situation, just explodes down the court. Watch him right there as he just accelerates to the basket. Tristan Thompson.
Foul on Josh White, his second. Falling away. The jumper to go is Antoine Jones, the senior out of Clarksdale.
Jones now 3 for 5 from behind the arc for the game.
Here's White.
Well, it's a good cut right there. Tristan Thompson was wide open, going right down the gap of the zone.
Thompson had the ball blocked, and it was Vogler who got it. And then on the follow, I was on side of it. Was that Thompson that got it back up in?
Tristan Thompson again, attack mode.
Vogler. Ooh, that was a hard collision.
Foul number 14, Tristan Thompson.
Thompson picks it up, and you can see the grimace on his face. Watch this collision.
With the penetration coming in, Thompson didn't quite get his feet set.
That was a good call. Delk misses on the spinning jumper. White, not there. Tremel, and he had the shot blocked. That was Coleman. Vogler loses it on the floor, and a timeout is called by North Texas. So Thompson with good hustle. And he gets up with a grimace, holding the back of his neck.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you're about right now, take a look at the video screen, SBCCrowdCameo.com. You can see some of the pictures taken during tonight's sit-in. Why don't you go online at SBCCrowdCameo.com and vote? You can decide right now who's going to be the favorite. It's all at SBCCrowdCameo.com.
Okay.
That's Tristan Thompson. Okay. Attack. Plus 205. Plus 8 to 9.
Yeah, Toombs has been active. 5 blocks by Troy, 3 by Toombs. Welcome back. Championship week presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. North Texas by 1 over Troy in the championship game.
Tristan Thompson is in attack mode. Why is that important? North Texas is geared to attack the rack and draw contact. Tristan Thompson, while not getting the line here, 3 North Texas players, Ron, have over 150 free throw attempts on the season. That's Johnny Jones basketball.
You see the overall record, 23-8, RPI 119, strength of schedule 291, and they're seeking their 3rd NCAA tournament bid.
That's a one good lead. And then you got to win 3 in a row. The first night you win, relief. The second night, a little bit of satisfaction creeps in. Tonight's all about exhilaration or devastation. 1 bid in the Sun Belt Conference.
Well, speaking of that, this little guy handling the basketball, we talked in the first half that White is indeed the heart and soul of this basketball team. Now, scoring-wise, Troy's done a really good job of silencing him. He only has 2 points so far in the ball game. Thompson on the way to the basket, good-looking drive, and he gets knocked down on the rebound. Hazard. Coleman muscles it in, and Odufuwa will pick up the foul.
Take a look at the scrum underneath the basket. Tristan Thompson goes up, doesn't quite get it. That's a good job of the big guy coming out with that left elbow. It's not flared. His upper body's not moving faster than his lower body, so it's not a flagrant foul. Very well officiated game tonight. Letting the guys play, but also keeping it under control.
Now, in the first half, we commented at halftime that we did not even know that they were there, which is always a good sign that it is a well-officiated game. Second one could not get it to go. And so we're deadlocked, 44 apiece, and about to hit the 17-minute mark. Who will be representing the Sun Belt in the NCAA tournament? One of these 2 fine teams, and they are seeded number 1 and number 2, and now they face off for the championship. Troy, the number 1 seed, North Texas, the number 2 seed.
One bid for this conference on the line.
Trammell. That's what I was talking about. Not only Odufuwa inside, but Trammell can give you muscle power. And Coleman gets taken out of the play as he makes the catch and knocked down really hard by Shannon Shorter. Now let's take a look at the Big East brass brackets. And you see the first round, USF and DePaul, UConn, St. John's. That one is now history. Seton Hall, Providence, Cincinnati, Rutgers. And then the second round, the matchups that are possible. And, of course, you'll be able to see it on our family of networks on ESPN.
Seton Hall and Bobby Gonzalez, a lot to gain in the Big East Championship. A team that's very much on the bubble, 18-10 on the season. They opened with Providence, who they just beat 3 days ago.
You know, speaking of being silenced, Delk back in the lineup, but he only has 2 points. Had the game winner last night with a 3-point shot at 14 seconds left. But North Texas has done a nice job of making sure that he doesn't do that in this game this afternoon. Tipped inside, could not get it to go, Antoine Jones, and the Mean Green comes away with it. They seem to have a little better control in this second half of play so far than they did in the final 5 to 7 minutes of the first half.
I think a lot of it's because number 10 in black, Josh White, knows his personnel.
White Couldn't get it to go. Knocked out of bounds by Jones. And we take a timeout. 15:41 left in our ball game. North Texas by a couple.
Rod's Pizza Cellar, the delivery of the game. If you want a pizza, here comes 2 pizzas, 4 pizzas, 6 pizzas, 8 pizzas. If you want a pizza, delicious pizza, from the court of the best pizza in Hot Springs for 15 years, Rod's Pizza Cellar, let them know. Do you want a pizza?
Ball game. Yeah. 10 rebounds and 11 points. I'll tell you what, Trammell is getting real close to one. He's 7 rebounds and 12 points. I'll tell you somebody else is Vogler. And when he gets 10 assists, he doesn't have any in the second half, though. They have cracked him down.
That's a Dufour's 13th double-double on the season.
13th?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't even realize that. Alrighty, thank you, sir. Our situation, 15:41 left in this Sun Belt Championship from Hot Springs, Arkansas, and it's 46-44. North Texas on top. And it has been back and forth. Inbounds pass, nice play until the ball was knocked away, and I think it was Coleman who got a hand on it. Long three, there's Delp. That's not there, and Trammell came down with the rebound. What's that old expression? White misses the score, and he's going to get called for an offensive foul. And Coach Jones is anything but happy. That's the 3rd foul on White.
Yeah, Josh White penetrates into a couple defenders, lowers that left shoulder. I think if he would have stayed squared going to the basket, it would have been okay, but he lowers that left shoulder, and I think that's the reason for the call.
Screen up high, and I'll tell you. Coleman had broken free and wide open in the middle. Couldn't get the ball back to him. Give and go. About to hit 15 minutes left in our ball game. Hazard back out front. Jones missed. 5 seconds on the shot clock. They did not draw iron a minute ago, and Vogler's going to be called for an offensive foul, and a North Texas player, see who that is,
Trammell.
Yeah, Trammell is injured on the play, and it may take him a couple of seconds to regain his breath.
Well, Michael Vogler, the guy 24 and white on offense, when Troy State has the ball, has to be more assertive like he was in the first half. Troy's offense bogging down without his half-court leadership on the offensive end.
What do you do to get White free? And plus the fact he's got 3 fouls, you certainly cannot have him on the bench if you're North Texas.
Josh White's the guy that really makes this offense go. He makes guys like Tristan Thompson better because he gives it to them in scoring position. So now Johnny Jones has some decisions to make. While Josh White, a seasoned veteran, but you're going to need to rest him throughout this second half in order to not get him the fourth foul. Flip side, if I'm Troy State, I'm telling Michael Vogler to take it right down Josh White's throat and try to get that fourth foul.
Well, back into the lineup, Pasatsia. That was a great story on Levon. Where's number 3? He is from Georgia. And of course, a part of the Russian Republic. And you remember the war that broke out, just over a year ago there. He happened to be there at the time as his shot is off the mark and taken down by the Mean Green. We'll finish the story in just a moment. The kids in this country think that they have grown up with tough situations. Folks, he was right there as a part of the war. White rattles it home and mark it down at the 13:44 mark. White gets on with a 3-point shot, and that is huge. And you can see the followers of North Texas up and really cheering.
And North Texas now in the 2-3 zone. They switch up defenses.
Delk couldn't get it to go. Tip inside Toombs has it knocked away by Odufuwa. Vogler, the floater, no, and Tristan Thompson comes down with it. And Coach Jones says, let's slow it down.
Watch Josh White with the basketball and how he sets up his teammates. He constantly puts it in scorers' hands where they feel comfortable.
Odufuwa, that's a nice look. And Trammell, the beneficiary of that wonderful assist. And now this is the largest lead of the afternoon by North Texas, 51-44. And Coach Don Maestri says, not my first rodeo, and I don't like what I'm seeing right now. Let's take a timeout. Trying to slow down the Mean Green.
I won't rest till I'm giving my respect. And my vision isn't set on the money I get, but more or less the vets. I'm coming for y'all neck. I ain't trying to store vets.
Championship week presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Ron Franklin along with Mark Adams, and it's North Texas leading by 4. And here's Championship week presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. On Thursday, the Colorado Texas Tech runner will take on the #1 team in the country and the #1 seed in the Big 12, Kansas. And then Thursday at 7 Eastern, the ACC tournament. First round action, it'll be North Carolina against Georgia Tech.
And Johnny Jones right now, his ball club executing the offense, much like Kansas executes their offense. Very much in attack mode right now. Kansas, the #1 team in the country. And North Texas trying to be the #1 team in the Sun Belt.
Delk almost lost the handle on the dribble. 7-point lead, North Texas. Still obviously plenty of time as Hazard wanted to get the ball up to Delk and now does. Takes it along the baseline, has the shot blocked, but he was fouled on the way up. And I believe Shorter, the way he's walked away from the huddle, will be the man who's called for the foul. He is, and it's foul number 3. Now let's take a look at team fouls. That is 16 fouls in North Texas and only 1 against Troy, which with this much time, 12:34 showing on the clock, that could wind up being huge in this basketball game.
And Ron, you've got to ask yourself the question, why would there be the disparity of fouls? North Texas, aggressive man-to-man. They're going to get out after you. They're going to reach a little bit.
Going to force the issue.
Troy State staying back in the soft 2-3 zone, so it's not the officiating dictating, it's the style of defense.
Well, that one would not go as well, and it's still a 7-point lead, so Delk misses a couple of opportunities. They haven't been to the free throw line that many times this afternoon. In fact, Troy only 4 of 8, 50%.
Watch the high post area against the zone. There's Tristan Thompson right there, sneaks in. That's the dead spot. There's Odufuwa. Well, he's wide open. There it is.
The jump hook, that's short and taken down by Bernard Toombs. Toombs back in the ballgame. He made a big impact in the first half. We talked about it a number of times.
Bad shot.
Woo. That ball was spinning sideways and almost knocked out of bounds. So let's take a timeout. 11:52 left in our ball game. Still a 7-point North Texas lead.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the court the North Texas Dancers.
Let's revisit that in this segment too.
Okay.
They are totally denying him the ball.
There's Pasatsia. Pasatsia on the bench, just to conclude that story on him. When that war did break out and he was in Georgia, he had to take off for Turkey, and his papers, thank goodness, would get him across the border. He didn't get in trouble there, and then was able to get away from the war and wind up coming back to this country. So this young man has had a lot in his life that goes far beyond what people think of the big pressures of college basketball.
It was interesting talking to him because Russia invades Georgia while he was playing on the Georgian U19 national team.
That's right, the under-19
World Championship
national team. That's right.
Had to go through Azerbaijan and then Turkey.
Delk passed up the three that time. Jones is going to take the three. In and out, unlucky on a shot. And that is rebounded by Adufawa.
And Michael Vogler getting no touches on the offensive end for Troy.
For Troy.
Texas switching up defenses every other possession, zone and man.
That miss a moment ago. They had missed their last 10 field goal attempts.
Michael Vogler scoreless in the second half after 10.7 assists.
Right, this is what you suggested.
2 turnovers.
Yeah, when we started the second half, you said that's what they have got to do as Hazard picks up the foul. And what exactly have they done to keep him out of? I mean, he had 7 assists in that first half. He has none, just an offensive foul in the second half.
Josh White has been told to deny Michael Vogler the basketball wherever he goes.
Mangrum inside, gets banged pretty hard, but has the ball taken away. And here comes Delk.
Well, there's Vogler on the far side wing. And North Texas is going to settle into their man-to-man. When he gives it up, there's no help off him.
Line drive three, not there. Hazard tips it on the floor. Adufawa's there to grab it, though. And numbers. Thompson strong to the hoop, missed it, and taken down by Troy once again. Antoine Jones. There's Delk. Soft jumper, got it to go. Well, that's got to be music to the ears of the folks from Troy.
Well, that's the game of Richard Delk. He's a guy who can put the ball on the floor, make plays. His brother Reginald dealt more of a long-range bomber for Rick Pitino and the Louisville Cardinals.
First field goal that they have made since 1852 of the second half.
And you see the quality of shots. North Texas, everything's been on the dribble drive and aggressive to the basket.
So the Big East brackets, as we take a look.
Now this is the one right here that intrigues me. Seton Hall versus Providence. Seton Hall, one of those teams that's very much looking for an at-large bid. Of course, St. Mary's didn't help them at all last night, beating Gonzaga in the West Coast Conference.
Trammell, well, they barely beat the shot clock as they drew iron and came off and they got the rebound. Wonder what team will get knocked out because of that.
Seton Hall could be one of them.
Hazard, that's a long three. That was right here in front of us.
He's got range.
So a couple of hoops by Troy to cut out the drought, which had been considerable in length. In fact, it had been for over 8 minutes. About to go under 9 minutes to play in our championship.
Against the zone again, that high post, low post area. They look for Duflo down low. There he is.
Dishes it off. The Duflo gets it over, and the shot won't go. The tip, and it's going to come down to the mean green to get a fresh 35. Taking the littlest guy on the floor, Josh White.
For North Texas against this zone, every time shot clock runs down, look low post, high post. There it is.
So Trammell is going to go to the free throw line. He's already got 16 points, and at the free throw line, 1 of 2.
Well, look at that dead area of the zone. It's been open all night, and so North Texas always has an offensive option late in shot clock. You can look low post or dead area mid post.
Second foul of Bernard Toombs. That's still only the third team foul against Troy. And of course, North Texas on the brink of allowing the Trojans to go to a 1-and-1 situation. They have 16 fouls. This is Vernon Taylor coming into the lineup. We didn't see as much of him in the first half as I thought possibly we would because of the great motor, the guy who makes things happen.
He really plays hard, and he's putting the game right now at 8:36 to give this team a lift. Defensively, offensively, loose balls, offensive rebounds, and attack. Watch number 2, Vernon Taylor.
Vernon out of Cross, South Carolina. At Spartanburg Methodist College. That one is off the mark. Tip inside, taken down to the mean green. And Tristan Thompson said, nope, I'm going to slow down and hand it off to Josh White. Let's run a little clock and also see if we can come up with some offense. Right now they lead it by 4, 53-49.
Watch this area right in here. That's the attack area against the zone.
10 seconds on the shot clock. Back down on the wing. Three-pointer. Counted for Colin Magrum.
And where did the pass come from? The weak area of the zone. Either by pass or by penetration. That's where you can score the ball. North Texas back in their 2-3 zone.
That's almost as good as a skip pass, isn't it?
Absolutely. You draw defenders and find the open man.
Well, Jones way off of that one.
Jump shot, jump shot, jump shot. 5 consecutive possessions now for Troy.
Don Maestri actually looking a little concerned across the way as the clock runs down, about to go under 7 minutes to play. Still, it is only a 56-49 lead, but it is the pace of the ball game, and it seems to be going in the favor of North Texas as far as their liking. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Thompson, long three, nope. Coleman gets it out of the wing. Here's Hazard. Hazard, great dish along the baseline, and an easy one for Antoine Jones as the defenders had their eyes in the middle. And Jones comes along the baseline to score it.
Brandon Hazard with that 2-foot jump stop right there, perfectly done.
catch on fire. He only had 2 points for the longest time, and now he's given their biggest lead at 8 points with back-to-back threes.
North Texas going to stay in that zone. They don't want to chase anymore. They want to save legs coming down the stretch.
Taylor left all alone, but he's short on the jumper, taken down by Odufuwa. He gets it off to White, and White very deliberately will bring it up again. And this is going to take him down into the low part of the 5-minute range left at our championship game. Troy, the number 1 seed. They're down by 8. North Texas, the number 2 seed.
But if you're North Texas, you've got to be careful about losing your aggression against the zone. Stay in attack mode.
Mangrum lost the handle. Vogler comes up with it. He'll put on the push, scores the basket, and will go to the free throw line. Boy, put an asterisk by that play. That is huge.
For Troy State to make a run, it's the Michael Vogler show. They've got to get it done on defense. Vogler twists, turns, off the glass. Here we go, Troy.
Please welcome to court the Troy Cheerleaders and the Sound of the South.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's. And in part by VW. With 13 different models, it's a whole new Volkswagen and a whole new game.
So we are back 59-53, North Texas leading. And here are some tickets that have already been punched as far as going to the big dance. Look down there at the bottom. A shocker, St. Mary's. So that means, Gonzaga is going to make it into the tournament. Who got sent home because of that, I wonder? Or will?
We'll know in about 5 or 6 days here.
And, the team that is one of my favorites, and if you're going to look for a sleeper, and it may wind up being seeded so that they're not a sleeper, is the one there in the Missouri Valley Conference, Northern Iowa. If they're not seeded exactly where they should be, they could cause a lot of misery and pain to a team that is much higher ranked than they.
No question. They play that boa constrictor defense of Ben Jacobson where they squeeze the life out of you. As we look at the last 4 in, Memphis, Arizona State, San Diego State, Illinois, from Joe Lunardi. First 4 out, Minnesota, Wichita State, who played that Northern Iowa team for the Missouri Valley Conference Championship. South Florida, who won today. Connecticut should not even be on the board. And remember, Lunardi, he's right 97% of the time.
Yeah, he's 97%.
How do you do that?
Doug got him, but he missed 3.
Yeah, what happened to the other 3%, Joe?
No, he does a magnificent job. No question about that. So back to play, 5:26. And you see the pressure coming up here by Troy, and no problem for the Mean Green. They break it easily. Odufuwa gets it right back to White. And White receives the ball still with 28 seconds on the shot clock as we're about to go into 5 minutes to play. Odufuwa bounce him inside. Trammell scored it, and an opportunity to make it 3 points on the play. Whew. That could turn into a very large one.
High post, low post, attack, penetrating passes. There's the flash. There's the seal low. There's the deuce and the +1. Look at this wide open spaces up in that mid-range post area, elbow to elbow. A good job of dragging defenders, bringing offensive players into the flow. Well executed by Johnny Jones of North Texas.
Toombs with 3 fouls goes to the bench. And Trammell bends the knees, sends the shot on the way. Could have been his 19th point, but he is off the mark on that one.
North Texas back into their man-to-man.
Delk left all alone, 3-pointer. Well, it's not working for him today. But that's the old thing. Hey, you know, sometimes magic works, sometimes it doesn't.
3 games in 3 days. That fatigue affects you jump shooting.
Mangrum gets the ball quickly to Trammell, and Trammell is saying, the head coach said, take a deep breath, let's slow it down here. We don't need to be in a hurry because we have a 7-point lead with 4.5 minutes left. A good thought inside. Dutulois couldn't hold on to it, knocked out of bounds by Troy. 11 seconds on the shot clock. As you look at Johnny Jones on the sideline.
There's one bid in the Sun Belt. This is 4th tonight.
Boy, costly turnover right there as the ball is knocked loose. Jones inside and a freebie. Coleman, the recipient, in an uncontested trip down the floor, and all of a sudden that 7 points shrinks to 5.
I think Don Maestri wanted his team to get up in some full court pressure, and Troy laid back into the 2-3 zone. This gives North Texas an opportunity to run more shot clock.
You can see Hazard then staring up as he was playing defense, staring up at the game clock, seeing how much time they have to work with. They got 3 minutes and 48 seconds left in this one. Mangrum, 3-pointer, no. And the big guy, Yamin Coleman, with the rebound.
Watch out for Hazard. He's the 3-point dagger shooter. There he is.
Got it on the way, and he rolls it around, and he turned an ankle. Hazard turned an ankle as he came down. I don't know if he landed on somebody's foot or what.
Troy needs a big basket. Go to your go-to guy from deep. Brandon Hazard. Splash.
And here it is. Direct your attention to the video boards. It's the US 97 Dance Band. Get up and strut your stuff in the stands. You can be on camera. Oh yeah. You guys got the groove, sort of. Oh, don't put me on camera. Oh, we didn't eat any sugar. Oh yeah. Boy Scouts rule. Dad, chair dancing. Oh, he's out. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He's got the arms. Oh. I don't know what that is. Shake it, Big Daddy. With a little help from a friend. Didn't we see y'all before? Oh, go, go, go! Oh, yeah. All right, ladies.
Why are we showing this here? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Just like Jersey Shore, this dancing.
So when you look at the streaks, the UCLA men 88, UConn 71, and UConn also at 70. So it's some great streaks that are going on, and the one right now at 71, I think 88 is very attainable, as good as those ladies are.
You know, I like the comparison of the men's team and the women's team, because I think Gino Auriemma, Pat Summitt could all coach successfully at the men's level. They are great coaches. You're not buying it, Paul.
I'm not saying I'm not buying it. I mean, that's for a discussion another time. We got 3 minutes and 20 seconds left in this one, and it's the Mean Green. Now their lead down from 8 points down to 2. See if they can continue to get their offense going as they look at the 2-3 zone of Troy.
Troy just packing it in.
4 seconds on the shot clock. Barely drew iron on that one. And Troy does the wise thing, just let it go out of bounds. So 3:01 as you look into the eyes of the head coach, Johnny Jones, and his ball club continue to do what they were doing just a moment ago. They seem to have the momentum, and all of a sudden that 8-point lead has been drained down to only a couple, 61-59.
Last night, similar situation. Michael Vogler made a play, and Hazard was the three-point go-to guy. Delk was the guy that did it off the dribble. 3 options.
Vogler gets it over on the wing, inside to Coleman. Tries to walk himself in, and on the jump hook, he's got it. Folks, we are tied at the 2 minutes and 34 seconds position on the clock.
North Texas has to attack. When they just pass the ball east and west, they've settled for contested jump shots. They've been effective off the dribble and in the mid-post area against the zone.
Shot clock is at 12. Game clock is at 2:10. Nice jump stop. Trammell couldn't get it. Gets his own tip, and he goes. Trammell has had himself a really good ball game. It gives him 20 points now. With us back to the 2-point margin. North Texas.
One bid league, the Sun Belt. Winner goes to the NCAA tournament.
Hazard almost had it taken away. Gets it back outside to Coleman. Looks up at the shot clock. It is now at 10. And counting down, Hazard. Dangerous pass to Vogler. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Now at 4. It's on the floor. Vogler gets a running jumper off. No good, and taken down by Odufuwa.
Great defense by North Texas.
And now the chaser, and they get the trap, and a jump ball has been called, and the possession arrow says it will go back to Troy.
Well, Josh White just picked up the basketball in the worst possible position. Near half-court line, near sideline. Don Maestri in full court. High-risk, high-reward defense for Troy.
Boy, they admitted the minute he got that thing across the timeline, the trap occurred, and they were extremely proficient with it, weren't they?
Very efficient with it. Now Don Maestri, late game, 1:17 to go. Last night, he went to Richard Delk on the right-hand side for a clear-out. Vogler and Hazard obviously are other options for Don Maestri in this situation. In North Texas, and Johnny Jones deny Vogler the ball, cut off the head of the offense.
Here are a couple of notes that I think are interesting as far as this one. Troy started the second half only 1 of 13. Since then, they have righted the ship. They're 7 of 12. But in second chance points, North Texas 10-0.
Well, against that zone, difficult to block off. That's been the reason for the North Texas success on the offensive glass.
As we told you, what is at stake? North Texas seeking their 3rd NCAA tournament appearance, and Troy their 2nd. 1 minute, 11 seconds to play in our ball game. North Texas by a couple. 3-pointer. Hazard not there. Tip inside, won't go, and boy, Delk very fortunate. He did not get an intentional foul on that one as he grabbed the back of the jersey, and Odufuwa almost went flying. That's the third foul on Delk, only the 5th team foul on the Trojans.
Which means Troy can really sell out in their full court pressure. They can trap as hard as they need to get the basketball.
Here comes White. You see the trap on him. Almost goes down. Gets it back into the middle. Stolen by Hazard. And he was fouled on the way to the basket. And they'll have to go to the free throw line. And Hazard is down again.
Troy, with a foul to give, can go that high-risk, high-reward defensive package.
Trammell says, I'm going to make you earn it. I've only got 1 foul. Let's make it 2. And I'm going to be physical on this play. So Hazard, with a couple of opportunities, trying to tie us at 63 all.
And now with the make of the second free throw, Troy can get into their full court press again. Hazard 75% free throw shooter on the season.
Can he tie it? Second one on the way. Yes. Swishes it. We're tied at 63. 53.4 seconds left. And I need to document one other thing. Trammell, the third 20-plus point game, plus 10 rebounds or better that he has had this season.
When Troy backs off, a little bit surprised by that. They've had some success with the press. They now back off into the 2-3 zone. Remember what Josh White told me before the game. They need a 2. Tristan Thompson, number 14, is the guy that he looks for.
Well, White is looking up at the shot clock. It's down to 12, now down to 11, and now under 10. Game clock is at 24. White pulls up, short jumper, cocks it, knocks it down, and it's a 2-point lead. North Texas, no shot clock. Game clock is at 18 and counting.
Vogel
gets the screen out high. Back to Hazard, looking for him. Crosses to the baseline. Ball is blocked. Odupuwa got it, and it's ball to North Texas with 7 ticks showing on the clock. And remember this, they still have a foul to give. Speaking of Troy, which could be huge right here on the inbounds pass.
Well, and it's to the disadvantage of Troy because they're going to have to burn some clock in order to commit that foul. So now, Troy with 5 team fouls, will have to burn a second or 2.
65, 63, 7 seconds showing on the clock. Take us through it. North Texas, what do you do with the inbounds pass?
North Texas, you've got to use all 94 foot of slab. I don't like teams that end up giving everybody the ball and hope it all works out. That brings defenders together. Send a man deep, look for the long ball, which takes another extra defender away, and get the ball to your best free throw shooter. Get the ball to Josh White.
Well, I'll tell you, North Texas knew exactly who to look for. That it was going to be Hazard who would be the favored one to get the basketball. And Odupuwa comes up with a block. So we'll put an asterisk by that play as well, as Odupuwa has had himself quite a game. 17 rebounds. He has 11 points, 2 assists, and blocks. If we double check, he's got 1. And that's the one he just now got.
Again, Troy with a foul to give. If you're North Texas, you want the ball in Josh White's hands. He was the number 2 free throw shooter in the nation last year.
That's right.
At 90%. He's 83% this year.
Remember, the first time these two teams met, it was won by North Texas, and that was a 3-point game. Right now, it's a 2-point game. 7 seconds left. Waiting. And a timeout has been called, as they could not get Josh White open as he passed along the baseline.
And Troy lost an opportunity to burn that foul. They could have grabbed a cutter with no time going off the clock.
So as they call the timeout, same situation, still a 2-point game with 7 ticks left on the clock.
If Don Maestri runs the same defense, which was a full denial, Johnny Jones just got a good look at it, and George Odupuwa would be wide open for the long pass. No one was deep to take it away.
Maestri. We could hear a little bit of what he was saying in the huddle as you get a good look at Josh White, the 5'8" junior guard out of Baton Rouge, and played at Christian Life Academy. He's the heart and soul of this North Texas team. And again, it's going to be Trammell who will be the guy who will pull the trigger.
He's the guy that can go deep.
And they got him, White. And can he hold on? Yes, he holds on to it. 3 seconds, down to 2 seconds, and he's going to go to the free throw line with 2.9 seconds left and a 2-point lead for North Texas. Well, the foul was on Vernon Taylor. That really is not a big deal. It's still only the team 6, only the first one on Vernon Taylor. So no free throw. I'm wrong. 2.9 seconds left. And a hold on Josh White. Not on him, but he was being held, and I think it was Taylor again. And now it'll be 1-1.
Perfectly executed play by Johnny Jones, getting the ball deep, using the full court to get Josh White open.
And now a timeout is being called by Don Maestri as he wants to talk it over. 2.9 seconds left. I had thought that White was fouled as he took it to the basket, but they said no, he was fouled on the floor before the act of shooting. But this time he was held up again, and the same man who could give still another foul is Vernon Taylor. So it's 1-1.
And now Johnny Jones has some decisions to make. He's got a great free throw shooter at the line. Let's listen to Johnny Jones. So for Josh White now, if he makes 1 out of the 2, it's a 3-point game with 2.9 to go. Johnny Jones would foul Troy, not give them an opportunity to get a 3-point shot off to tie the game. If Jones makes both, or excuse me, if White makes both, then obviously no foul needed.
I'll tell you what he needs to do is he needs to get him off the snide in the second half, because North Texas is 0 for 3 at the free throw line in the second half. White about to receive the ball. Obviously, if he gets the first one, it's a one-trick ball game. If he can get them both, then the Mean Green is sitting pretty nice. First one on the way. He got it. Boy, I thought that thing was going to pop out of there. It went in and out and in and out and then down.
This one's critical. If Josh White misses, I wouldn't be surprised to see North Texas foul.
And the assistant coach is suggesting to Johnny Jones, we need to send some folks deep in case he does miss it, to make sure that we don't give him anything easy as far as an attempt.
And why do you foul? 3-point game if Josh White misses. If a prayer is answered for Troy, this game goes into overtime. In every statistical analysis I have studied, when you foul in this situation, you either quadruple or quintuple your chances of winning under 5 seconds to go.
So you see the timeouts. North Texas has 1, no more for Troy. The fouls, 7 against North Texas, 8 against, that's actually 8 against North Texas, 7 as far as Troy is concerned. So 1-1, certainly not the double bonus, but it wouldn't matter with a 3-point lead, and particularly as we've made the point that if he makes this second one here, then the strategy changes and changes very quickly.
For Troy, 2 guys that can make this play from way deep. Brandon Hazard has significant deep range. Michael Vogler, another guy with good strength from 30 feet or 40 to knock down the shot. That's why I think you foul if you miss this free throw.
So you can see we get a shot of the full court. North Texas has 2 players, Dufois
and look who's at half
Trammell,
court.
and then Shorter. And Hazard is standing at half court. Vogler is standing at half court on the other side. Here comes the free throw. He can make it a 4-point ball game with 2.9 seconds left. Josh White. Deep breath. bends the knees, and he missed it. Opportunity for Troy. 1 second. Gover gets it away. Off the mark. North Texas has won the Sun Belt title. So the celebration begins. You can see the confetti. Is it amazing? First game was how many points? 3. Second game, 3.
Down to the wire.
Played in a neutral site. And for North Texas, they are going to be taking a trip to the big dance. 66-63. So once again, our final score, North Texas 66, Troy 63. For Mark Adams and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Ron Franklin. Coming up, Championship Week presented by Dick's Sporting Goods continues with Summit League Tournament from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. The preceding has been an exclusive presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader. North Texas wins it. Good evening from Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Woo!